Justin Trudeau is finally gone. Facing increasing pressure from both his opponents as well as his own party, Trudeau has resigned as the Prime Minister of Canada. So what does this mean for India and the future of Indo-Canadian bilateral ties? It is safe to say that these last 4 years have witnessed the lowest point in Indo-Canadian ties since the Kanishka air bombing by Khalistani extremists in 1985. For years now, Canada has actively interfered in India's internal affairs. The beginning of the current downturn in ties between the two countries can be traced back to the farm law protests in India in 2020 and Canada actively positioning itself behind the agitators. Not only did Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau come out in support of the farmer protests via tweets, there is now ample evidence to suggest that PR firms close to Justin Trudeau's former ally Jagmeet Singh were involved in helping organize the agitations via the famed toolkit that was mistakenly leaked by activist for hire Greta Thunberg. Even American pop star Rihanna was roped in to comment on the ongoing agitation and was paid $2.5 million by PR firm Skyrocket, operating from Canadian soil. But what would cold, white Canada have to gain from interfering in India, 12,000 kilometers away? You see, the anti-farm agitations were hijacked by Khalistani elements, especially due to logistical, PR, and organizational support from Canada. Migration from Punjab to Canada has been on the rise for the past few decades, but has increasingly accelerated in the past 10 years due to rural distress in Punjab. Repeated warnings by India about migrants with criminal or separatist backgrounds have been constantly ignored by Canadian immigration authorities, who have been given instructions to overlook red flags in immigration processing. Canada's economic growth has come to depend largely on its real estate growth, which in turn needs mass migration to sustain itself. Most of these migrants are easily radicalized by Khalistani elements upon their arrival in Canada and make up the largest vote bank for Jagmeet Singh's National Democratic Party, a former ally in the Trudeau government. However, Trudeau's historically low approval ratings prompted even his longtime partner, Jagmeet Singh, to withdraw support from the crumbling alliance. This isn't new, however. Canada has a long history of sheltering terrorists and separatists. Rewind back to June 1985 when Canadian Khalistani terrorists planted a bomb on board Air India, Flight 182. Its explosion resulted in the deaths of 329 passengers and crew, and is today remembered as the Kanishka air bombings. Who was in charge of Canada at the time? That's right, none other than Justin Trudeau's father, Pierre Trudeau. Needless to say, Canada failed to act. It hesitated in cracking down on Khalistani elements at home and rejected India's requests for extraditing those who were involved. Sheltering Khalistani elements and allowing them to spread in their own backyard has become a hallmark of Canada's diplomatic and domestic policy and the defining legacy of the Trudeau administration. Long story short, Trudeau used the Khalistani boogeyman to appease Khalistani elements for the sake of politics and to serve the Biden administration as a shoulder to fire from at India in order to maintain diplomatic pressure following India's refusal to cut ties with Russia following the war in Ukraine. It remains to be seen how an incoming prime minister would treat the Khalistani issue. Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative leader who is touted to be the new prime minister, has called NDP's Jagmeet Singh a sellout for taking too long in withdrawing support for the Trudeau government. Interestingly, immediately following Trudeau's resignation, incoming US President Donald Trump immediately re-invoked demands to incorporate Canada into the US. Such a hostile and aggressive approach from their closest partners will surely keep Canada too busy with their own affairs to interfere in the affairs of other countries like India. How the US deals with Canada and how the incoming Prime Minister of Canada deals with the Khalistani issue will play a huge role in the shaping of Indo-Canadian ties. From India's point of view, all the Modi government has to do is ensure that these Khalistani elements don't step foot in India again. And if they do, they are immediately arrested upon arrival in order to prevent them from importing Khalistani separatism back to Punjab.